Thank you so much. I have been told that this session is for the farmers as well as our international partners. So I shall be, making my presentation in both Hindi and English both. So I think we shall be, able to communicate with the farmers as well as international partners. So although my topic is so vast, but I'll try to keep the things in the perspective of the new varieties and the varieties which are needed for the future and what we have been doing from last 76 years. So this is the new potato varieties on the rise and meeting global demand. Why this actually meeting global demand? Because India is such a vast country, having even a state of Haryana is bigger than the Netherlands. So if certain varieties performing more than 5 states, so our variety can cater to the world demand, and we can show you that how many geographies and the soil and climatic edaphic factors are matching with certain other countries. So this is before coming to that point, I would like to take you all quickly to how potato, why potato is so important, especially because this is a very crop of foreign origin, and it was that crop considered as a crop of elites earlier those days when it was introduced in the later 16th century. So those who have had lot of money, they can buy this crop. But now this is the crop of poor, and the credit goes to that all stakeholders, including you all, farmers, researchers. So you see that this has the global significance, and in the recent past, the China and India alone, they are contributing almost 50% of the total world total potato production. And the nutritional powerhouse, we all know that every time this is our a very integral part of our dietary habit. But see how this humble crop is silently supplying an important nutrient like a single serving potato supplying almost 15% of the potassium, 14% of the vitamin B6, 14% of the vitamin C, which we may not be many of us knowing that potato is a silent supplier of vitamin C, and many other compounds which are beneficial to our health. Now many of us, we have had much talk on this particular aspect, that how the potato traveled, and what is the present 60 million ton total production in India almost is a home of 16% of the total world potato production. Per capita availability, although we are the almost lesser than the world availability is average per capita per annum is 30 kg, but in India we are although lagging behind, but very soon we feel that this can be a crop of the future, which I think many agencies have identified it. And the target, what target we have set for our country in 2050, that we need 125 million potato for feeding our burgeoning population, and this is growing at the rate of 3% at SEGR, what is that we have predicted. If you see the scenario of the regional scenario of this potato production in such a vast country, because many of the international processors, seed producers they are eyeing whether we should invest in Uttar Pradesh or we should invest in West Bengal. So this is how this crop not only attracting to the international business, but they are also, that crop is also being considered as one of the job provider, job creator crop. So Uttar Pradesh alone is producing 33% of the total potato production of country. So, and after that West Bengal and then Bihar and many other that states, they are more than 10%. Other significant producers which are below 10%, but their contribution in the potato economy is so high. Like Gujarat, even if you see in this particular event itself, हमारे जितने बहुत सारे गुजराती भाई आए हैं यहाँ पर 50 मुझे लगता है कि परसेंट स्टॉल में भी गुजराती भाई होंगे और प्रोसेसर तो पूरा का पूरा वो 70% मुझे लगता है कि प्रोसेस कर रहे हैं. सो दिस इज द सिचुएशन दैट हाउ पोटैटो has become an important crop not only for the growers of the certain geographies, but they are providing a very favorite food for right from the children to the that old age peoples. So here if you see the global context, I have told that we are lagging behind, but there is a lot of scope. The Belarus eating almost 1.5 quintal potato per person per annum. So although we have a better options of potato, but yes, it has lot of scope. We can integrate with our local dietary habit. So if we look at my core topic which I have been assigned, development of varieties. So from last 76 year journey, the CPRI has witnessed, after the introduction, the institute was formed in the Ministry of Food during 1935-36. Then it became the institute in 49, and then after that the institute shifted to Simla in 56, and then afterwards, right from the 54, the first variety released in the Kufri Kisan, and then from that point of time, we have been able to release and cater for all segment of people, be it for the table purpose, be it for the colored skin varieties, and that for heat tolerance, for there is one very single variety many of us may be knowing, that Kufri Bahar. Kufri Bahar is a variety which is alone contributing almost 40% of the area of Uttar Pradesh, and the state of UP is producing 33% of total production. So a single variety is contributing almost 8 to 9 or 10 million alone. So see the gravity that how a single variety contributing to the system. So this is how we can take the that journey that have been so fruitful, and there are many like Kufri Sinduri, Kufri Jyoti. That yesterday I heard that variety has been identified, and that in the one session that it was that considered as a very good variety. So Kufri Bahar, Kufri Lalima, and after that in the recent past, certain variety like Kufri Lohit, Neelkant, Sukhyati, Kufri Ganga, Mohan, Sangam, Pukhraj, Anand, Kufri Puskar, Khyati, that provide robust option in disease prone region. Climate resilient variety like Kufri Surya, Kiran, Bhaskar, Tejas, although they are picking up, but the Surya is very prominent, and it covering a lot of area, and many of our colleagues, those who have been involved right from the beginning, they are also sitting here. Processing variety, we have been able to develop almost 11 processing varieties, right from the Chipsona 1 to Chipsona 5, and now there that Kufri Fry Sona and Fry M for the French fries. And that a new chipping variety series we have started, Kufri Chip Bharat 1 and Kufri Chip Bharat 2. So I will be showing you some of more information on those varieties. So these are some information which again we feel proud that although there may be some of these varieties they were taken by the travelers, or illegally they were taken by the some of the people. So our varieties are grown in the foreign countries, like in Afghanistan, Kufri Chandramukhi, Kufri Chipsona 4 released. They have released officially as a variety of Sadaf, alongside Kufri Himalini released as a Bamiyan 20. These are the varieties that are popular in Afghanistan. Kufri Jyoti, Kufri Sinduri in Sri Lanka. Uh, that some of the our breeding clone, they have been transported by different means. So they are cultivating different clones as a the Sita for local production in Southeast Asia. Philippines, they released our one clone as a Montanosha. Likewise, there are certain many varieties, red skin varieties, Sinduri, that Bangladesh and Bhutan, that these are the varieties which are contributing a lot to the because of their specific tuber texture and low cost of cultivation. Even in Latin America, Bolivia, that our one clone 1039 released as a cultivar India, in Mexico also, and likewise in Africa, Madagascar, and that one our clone was released as a Malaika. So there are so many our genotypes. So there are, so this is that we can take this the advantage if our varieties can adopt a natural route by either official or unofficial. So we can exploit these countries to our target countries to take our varieties to there, and some of the matching that regions which we can see, that Nepal in subtropical plains, Pakistan, China, in Asia, in America, that Florida, Louisiana, and parts of Georgia, in Africa, that some certain other geographies, subtropical highland country, there may be Nepal, Bhutan, and the Himalayan states, East African highlands, Ethiopia, Kenya, the temperate zone, that Mexican plateau, central Mexico. So these are the areas which are matching with our many of the that potato growing areas. So here now I'll come to the different traits which we have been what we have been talking from last 2-3 days, that we need to develop such kind of varieties. So this is naturally during the process of selection in a particular geography, those traits are already been taken care, and those varieties are the varieties which are contributing to the system. So the most popular one that already I talked about, that Kufri Bahar, Pukhraj, and Jyoti, and then another variety Kufri Kanchan and Himalini. Although this variety was, this particular Kanchan was released in for the North Bengal, it has got a that wart resistance against wart, but the farmers of plain area like Farrukhabad and other जो region से आते हैं, they are taking this as a very good crop for exporting to the Nepal and Bhutan, where the red skin potatoes are much liked. So these are the other segment. Now the many of us are so much concentrating that because we are eating lot of potatoes, so why not to get a nutrition out of our potatoes along. So here certain varieties like Kufri Neelkant, this is a very good variety having a very nice mealy texture, very high carotene content, purple skin. This Kufri Manik has a very rich carotene, and zinc and iron both are also high in this Kufri Manik. Kufri Jamunia, last year this was released by Honorable Prime Minister, and this is one of the anthocyanin rich variety, and this is the first purple fleshed and purple skin variety of our the CPRI. And now that very latest, that this year only Kufri Ratan has been recommended for release for our North Indian plain. This variety has got a high carotene as well as a high iron. So this is that segment which we are now much talking about, biofortification, and this is what that we are now very much concerned, that day by day we are facing aberration in the temperature and climatic conditions, either at the time of planting or during the tuberization phase. So these are our preparedness, that we identified this problem very long back, and the Kupri Surya was released, and now in that line these are the new release after Surya, that Kupri Kiran, the white fleshed heat tolerant variety, Kupri Bhaskar and Kupri Tejas. So again, out of these three, two are the white flesh, which are much liked in our northern region, and one is that light yellow fleshed. So the beauty of this variety is the threshold of tuberization in potato is below 18 average night temperature. So night temperature once goes beyond 18 degrees Celsius, the tuberization will stop altogether. So here these varieties will continue to develop the varieties and the sizing of tuber. So, and these varieties are free of, there is no any license regime and other things. So any farmer can come and take the seed as well as the microplant to get good quality seed. So these are another segment for which again the climatic conditions are going to be one of the major challenge for water supply. So there is one series which we have started 2 years back, the Thar series, Kufri Thar 1, Kufri Thar 2 and Kufri Thar 3 and Kufri Dutch. So these 4 varieties are very much, at least they are able to save 25% of water in the crop season. So if in that way our preparedness towards our climate change is much higher than what the impact we are going to realize. So here these are some of the solution for the water scarcity. Now let us come to the sector which is now very much booming in our country, be it the French fry production or the flake production or starch or dehydrated or making bhujia or any sort of potato products. So although there have been a little, we started because we are earlier we were producing varieties for the table use only, and our percentage in processing, as in the previous lectures of SP Singh ji and Arif ji, that we were processing hardly 2 to 3%. But now as the percentage has gone up, so we definitely would be requiring more raw material and more varieties for different geographies. So these are some of the popular varieties. Earlier they have been released, that Chipsona 1 very popular among the processor as well as the consumer in the premium market, Kupri Chipsona 3, Kupri Fry Sona, among I think almost 20% of the raw material is being procured by almost all French fry maker from this variety itself. So now the latest one is Kupri Fryo. This is a white flesh variety which has been, I think, regarded as one of the alternate of russet Burbank of the US, especially because that is the one variety which is giving the white flesh fries to the East Asian nation. So this can be one of the best alternative for that particular segment. So these are some latest processing varieties for the chipping as well as for making flakes. That Chipsona 5, Kupri Chip Bharat 1 and Kupri Chip Bharat 2. So these all varieties have more than 20-21% dry matter, low reducing sugars, means less than 100 milligram sugars, and medium to long term storability. So this is one of the that specialty of these varieties. So these are some that special traits which if anyone interested, definitely we will be giving them for because this particular variety has been licensed to 22 firms of this country as processor, seed producer, and we are in talk with the one international firm, and very soon that going to take this variety to overseas, uh, uh, and many of the varieties which are in our pipeline apart from this Kupri Fryoem is that Gypsona 5, which has also been licensed to 9 processors and seed producer. Kupri Chip Bharat 1 is another variety which we have recently licensed to ITC as well as one seed producer, and another variety which I think that has a very special trait for the southern locality. So none of our Indian or the exotic genotype addressing to the southern problem of like having late blight resistance as well as having hopper and mite tolerance and the processing trait. So that recently we have licensed to another processing number that was not released, but it was identified by the ITC in a joint trial, and that has been licensed to ITC. So now coming to the second point, that market focused seed system and commercialization. So this is actually the journey, although this is a very area which I think that requires a lot of time to look into that. At least many of us knowing that CPRI is doing the development of varieties, development of agrotechnics, and a lot of things are there. So here, although I'm not covered, but many of the agrotechnics, deep stick technology for estimating sugars in the field itself. So you need not to rely on the data of YSI in the laboratory. So in the field itself, you can assess whether your potato is worth to keep for the long-term storage or the short-term storage. So these are some of the technologies. So in this segment, CPRI has been witnessing lot of changes right from the sprout cutting to the tissue culture technology. There is a lot of scope in the bridging the gap, because earlier there was we felt that why all of a sudden we have even crossed our target, because we have set the target, 60 million ton target was not set for the 2024. So we have already crossed the target. So, and the seed has played a very important role, and that credit goes to not only the CPRI but the industry also, those who have been so instrumental to produce almost today, in today's context, 200 million tubers are available, and those 200 million tubers, if we are multiplying religiously to the different generations, so they can make 8 lakh metric ton tubers G3 seed. So this is how we can say that we are able to replace almost 20% seed in the system, and that will ultimately pave the way for the high production in our country. So this is tissue culture technology, microplant, and then production of microtubers in the laboratory or mini tubers in the poly houses, then aeroponic system that which has led the again disruption in the seed production, that the multiplication was so high. Then ARC, which I think that we did long back, but now that SIP is also doing great job that taking up in a different scale, and then afterwards field multiplication of different generations. So here these are some of the innovations that in the seed system that which really needed, that happened, and definitely that public private partnership and farmer centric approach would again pay the that price that will definitely further increase our productivity. So this is my last slide. So why this particular varietal development, we need to have following traits in our future varieties, that the processing varieties maturing in early medium time, that 75 to 90 days duration, and also fit well into the popular cropping system, because unless if we are not able to fit into a particular cropping system, we are not able to push our variety for the system. So the system productivity will also be there. Development of varieties that withstand high temperature during emergence and tuber formation and harvesting. So this is the trait not for the table use, but this is now the trait which we need to incorporate into our segment of varieties, because this is the problem we are going to face for all, whether it is a table variety or the processing variety or any area. Then stable processing quality after long term storage. Again, this is the challenge for the processor, and this particular problem arises when there is a problem in the previous stages. Like if we are exposing our crop to the high temperature, then definitely this particular thing is going to happen. So any stress in potato, either is a high temperature or the low temperature, definitely will have an impact on the storage life. Then management of dry rot, root knot nematode, fungal and bacterial diseases, and development of varieties for resistance to low temperature sweetening for storing potatoes at 4 to 6 degrees centigrade. That is the very important area. We are in the search of new chemical in place of that particular harmful CIPC. So if we are able to make our potato at least storable at 6 to 8 degrees Celsius without use of sprout suppressant, then that will also be helpful. And development of varieties for resistance to low temperature sweetening, that is also important. And ensuring content of, this is one of the area I was amazed that in this particular event I did not hear anything about the food value of the consumer. So we need to be very responsible and socially accountable. We will definitely see the impact if we are not giving the right food to our consumer. So moving fast in the processing sector is good, but our consumers are also very important part. If they are healthy, then we will be able to feed them for longer period of time. Otherwise, we have to be very careful that we need to keep our acrylamide content below the standards. Then only we are serving to the nation and serving to the humanity. Thank you so much.